For all its beauty and splendor, the wilderness can be a cruel teacher. Engaging in mountain hiking stands as a superb method for refreshing one's thoughts, pushing personal limits, and commencing an indelible journey. Yet, instances may arise during your expedition that necessitate swift adjustment. Unfavorable weather, injuries, navigation challenges, aiding a fellow trekker, and a myriad of potential difficulties have the potential to disrupt your serenity. Please click the subscribe and like buttons. This is Outdoor Disasters. Mount Washington, located in New Hampshire, is the highest peak in the northeastern United States and is renowned for its extreme weather conditions and breathtaking panoramic views. Mount Washington stands at an elevation of 6,288 feet, or 1,917 meters, and is notorious for its erratic and severe weather conditions. It experiences some of the harshest weather on Earth, including rapid temperature changes, strong winds, and heavy precipitation. The mountain held the world record for the highest wind speed ever recorded at the Earth's surface for many years. Mount Washington offers a variety of hiking trails that cater to different skill levels, from relatively easy routes to more challenging and strenuous ascents. The most popular trail is the Tuckerman Ravine Trail, which provides access to the summit and offers stunning views of the surrounding landscape. Visiting Mount Washington offers a unique and memorable experience. Whether you're interested in challenging hikes, studying extreme weather conditions, or simply enjoying the region's stunning natural beauty, this mountain can meet your needs. For Pam Bales, her Mount Washington ascent would be unforgettable. Pam Bales is an avid hiker, outdoorswoman, and search and rescue volunteer. Bales embarked her Mount Washington ascent in October 2010, setting foot on the snow-covered Jewel Trail. Her solo expedition was carefully planned, involving a 6-hour loop hike. Prepared for various contingencies, she left her itinerary on her Nissan Xterra's dashboard and shared copies with 2 friends from the Pemigewasset Valley Search and Rescue Team. Bales' route involved starting on the Jewel Trail, traversing the ridge via Gulfside Trail, summiting Mount Washington, descending via the Crawford Path to Lakes of the Clouds Hut, further descending the Ammonoosuc Ravine Trail, and returning before anticipated inclement weather arrived. Pam Bales diligently checked the Mount Washington Observatory's higher summits forecast before commencing her journey. Despite the forecast of low clouds and some wind, she deemed her plan realistic, though she was mindful of the potential challenges. As she ascended the lower portion of the Jewel Trail, Bales experienced the joy of reconnecting with the mountains. She captured moments with selfies, first in milder conditions, and later in colder snow-covered terrain. The weather gradually shifted, with thick clouds laden with precipitation enveloping Mount Washington's summit. Upon breaching the tree line and reaching the junction of Jewel and Gulfside trails, the weather turned harsh. Fully exposed to the elements, Bales layered up with a shell jacket, goggles, and mountaineering mittens. While making her way toward Mount Washington, she noticed a set of footprints in the snow, realizing they belonged to someone wearing sneakers. Despite the challenging conditions, she continued on. Around 11 a.m., Bales grew colder and sought shelter behind a cairn on Mount Clay to add more layers. Adjusting her clothing and equipment, she decided to forego summiting Washington in favor of her bailout plan. With her extensive mountain experience, Bales recognized the importance of making informed decisions. Summiting was an option, but ensuring her safe return was paramount. I told myself if the weather worsened further, I'd turn back. Returning to my car was more important than making the summit, Bales recalled, describing her determination as she continued, despite blowing snow and plummeting temperatures. Gusts of wind surged out of the fog aggressively, striking her from behind and her left side. The once enveloping cloud cover had transformed into a quagmire of obscurity, leaving Bales solely reliant on the sneaker-traced path in the snow. Meanwhile, the observatory had reported ice pellet showers at the summit, and Bales found herself pelted by heavy sleet slightly north of that point. As she grappled with the formidable conditions along the ridge, her gaze sought solace in the certainty of the next cairn. Yet the trail of tracks before her took an abrupt left turn off the path, sparking genuine alarm. The hiker responsible appeared ill-equipped to navigate through the limited visibility and was veering perilously toward Great Gulf. Frozen in place, Bales wrestled with the sudden convergence of these diverging tracks. The temperature and clouds were in a race to find their lowest point. Her field of vision was constrained to just a few feet. The winds grew fiercer, and dusk drew near. The decision to follow the tracks would compound risks and extend the itinerary she had already adjusted for dual management. However, she couldn't dismiss this situation. Thus, she pivoted left toward Great Gulf and called out into the frigid mist. "Hello?" Nothing. Once more, she raised her voice. "Is anybody out there? Do you need help?" The persistent westward wind snatched her words away. She blew her rescue whistle, briefly tricked by a fleeting notion of a response. Yet it was merely the wind toying with her senses. Standing half a mile from the junction of Jewel and Gulfside trails and approximately a mile from Westside Trail, she cautiously pressed forward toward the lone set of tracks in the snow. Her contingency plan would have to wait. Slicing through the dense, frozen fog, she continued to sound her rescue whistle, her body now buffeted by gusts exceeding 50 miles per hour. Even with her micro spikes secured, maintaining balance on the rime ice-coated rocks proved arduous. She recalled the observatory's advisory about cautious foot placement due to the fresh snow not yet solidified between the rocks. Each step held an added element of peril. Guided by the tracks, she treaded gingerly for about 20 to 30 yards, navigating a gentle bend that revealed a motionless figure. This man was nestled among large, rime-covered boulders just off the clay loop trail. Gazing toward the Great Gulf, its grandeur obscured by the dismal visibility, he seemed oblivious to Bales's approach. Uttering a greeting, she received no reaction. Clad in tennis sneakers, shorts, a lightweight jacket, and fingerless gloves, he appeared soaked and coated with frost. His head was bare, his day pack appeared empty. His awareness of her presence was palpable yet sluggish. His eyes tracked her lethargically, his head barely swiveling. Kneeling beside him, Bales noted his thin attire, jacket, t-shirt, and damp pants. The question echoed, how could someone undertake this ascent so ill-prepared? Despite his evident breathing, his pallid, porcelain-like complexion and vacant gaze marked the gravity of his condition. This was dire, an observation underscored by the frozen windbreaker and the patches of frost detaching from it with faint, brittle sounds as he shifted. A shift occurred within Bales. Transitioning from an inquisitive and concerned hiker, she shifted gears into a full-fledged rescue mission. Leveraging her wilderness medical training, she endeavored to gauge his level of consciousness. "What's your name?" Her query garnered no response. "Do you know where you are?" Again silence. His skin, pallid and waxy, bore a glazed sheen. Disconnection was evident. Hypothermia had taken hold, perilous circumstances further exacerbated by relentless winds at 50 miles per hour, a frigid temperature of 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and the ceaseless barrage of ice pellets that now assailed both Bales and the man who had transitioned from an unknown hiker to her patient in need. The prospect of leaving him behind for her own survival was a terrifying thought, yet her training in search and rescue dictated that she avoid jeopardizing her own well-being to the point of becoming a patient herself. Time was a luxury they couldn't afford. She immediately sprung into action. Finding him seated, supported by the rocks, his posture a mixture of semi-recline and lifelessness, she methodically removed his clothing down to his t-shirt and underwear. Establishing a name for him, John, since he remained unresponsive, she strategically positioned adhesive toe warmer packs on his bare feet and examined him for injuries to no avail. With resolve, she retrieved from her pack a pair of soft-shell pants, socks, a winter hat, and a jacket, gradually dressing his immobile body. Extracting a bivouac sack, she positioned it around him, shielding him from the wind. Activating additional heat packs from her supply, she inserted them strategically into his clothing to distribute warmth across his body. Pam Bales' preparedness came to the forefront as she administered aid. John's disorientation persisted, and his limited capacity prevented him from assisting. Recognizing the urgency of their situation, Bales focused on gauging his level of consciousness. Stifled by hypothermia, John could only slurringly recount his departure from Maine that morning, when temperatures had starkly contrasted at 60 degrees. He intended to embark on the same loop as Bales, a route he was familiar with, yet poor visibility led him astray, culminating in his current predicament. As Bales diligently worked to restore his body heat, he remained lethargic. Their impending danger propelled Bales into resolute action. She knew that if they remained there, John's fate was sealed. Firmly and assertively, she informed him, "John, we have to go now." The directive left no room for debate. Bales was descending and John would accompany her. Bracing against the howling wind, she facilitated the transfer of her microspikes onto his sneakers. Supporting him as he stood, trembling from the cold, Bales issued determined yet compassionate guidance. "Stay right on my ass, John." This stark command underscored her commitment to ensuring his safety. Their route back necessitated retracing their steps, a challenging path from Gulfside Trail to Jewel Trail. Bales opted against Westside Trail, or the ascent of Mt.Washington, wary of the more severe storm conditions prevailing there. The wind's deafening roar underscored her conviction to avoid taking them closer to that tempestuous realm. The pair progressed cautiously, navigating by following the faint impressions in the snow left by Bales's trekking poles on their initial ascent. Visibility remained abysmal, propelling them forward at a crawl. Endeavoring to anchor John to reality, Bales sang Elvis songs, striving to maintain his engagement and her focus. Progressing from cairn to cairn, she maintained her composure while concealing her growing concern. At a crucial juncture, John faltered, collapsing into the snow. Bales pivoted to find him hunched in a fetal position, his body language conveying surrender. With unwavering determination, she rejected defeat, compelling him to rise and continue. His ascent, though gradual, marked a pivotal victory. Nearly half a mile of arduous travel culminated in their return to the junction of Gulfside and Jewel Trails, and they started their descent around 2 p.m. Although the tree cover offered respite from the wind, the darkened canopy demanded illumination from Bales' headlamp as they negotiated the trail's challenging twists and turns. With only one headlamp shared between them, Bales carefully progressed, shining light on each section for John to follow. Offering encouragement and a medley of 1960s songs, she facilitated their demanding descent. The physical and emotional ordeal took its toll, as Bales dreaded John's potential collapse in resistance. Just before 6 p.m., their hours-long ordeal concluded as they reached the trailhead, battered and utterly fatigued. Bales' ascent to locate John consumed approximately 4 hours, with 6 hours having elapsed since the initial encounter. Firing up her car's engine, she positioned John's frozen clothing inside to thaw, realizing his lack of spare attire. Inquiring why he hadn't prepared adequately, he explained that he had borrowed the car. He eventually redonned his dry clothes and returned those she had provided on the ridge. As he departed, Bales posed a final question about his attire's suitability for the forecast, met with silence. It was at that moment, 6:07 p.m., that the Mt.Washington Observatory documented its highest wind gust of the day at 88 miles per hour. Amidst darkness and astonishment, Bales asked, "What the bleep just happened?" However, the answer to her query would only arrive a week later, enclosed within a letter and a donation sent to the president of her rescue group. The entire time, she treated me with care, compassion, authority, confidence, and the impression that I mattered. With all that has been going wrong in my life, I didn't matter to me, but I did to Pam. She probably thought I was the stupidest hiker dressed like I was, but I was never put down in any way. Chewed out, yes, in a kind way. Maybe I wasn't meant to die yet. I somehow still mattered in life. I became very embarrassed later on and never really thanked her properly. If she is an example of your organization/professionalism, you must be the best group around. Please accept this small offer of appreciation for her effort to save me way beyond the limits of safety. No did not seem in her mind. I am getting help with my mental needs. They will also help me find a job, and I have temporary housing. I have a new direction thanks to wonderful people like yourselves. I got your name from her pack patch and bumper sticker. Deepest thanks, John, the letter concludes. Bales was deeply moved by the man's gesture and his reference to the fact that she made him feel he mattered. Pam Bales' tale of determination, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to a stranger's well-being epitomizes the spirit of selflessness and bravery that defines search and rescue operations. Bales' story made her a legend around the mountains of New Hampshire, but she had no desire to hog the headlines. Bales remained humble about the event, even after it was announced that the miraculous rescue would feature on the big screen The Infinite Storm. She hoped the movie taught people to observe all precautions and carry the appropriate gear when hiking dangerous trails. Today, Pam has moved out west, where she patrols the national parks, where people are likely to die from heat rather than cold. Pam said she hopes to return to New Hampshire someday. Pam Bales' heroic rescue on Mount Washington is a testament to the unwavering commitment of search and rescue professionals, and the power of human compassion. Her selflessness and courage echo through the peaks, a reminder that even amidst nature's most formidable challenges, the strength of the human spirit shines brightest. People wondered if she tried to seek out John. I never found out exactly who I helped that day, but I like to think he is out there somewhere, enjoying his second chance. If you encounter someone experiencing a mental health crisis and are having thoughts of suicide, it's crucial to respond calmly, empathetically, and promptly. Approach the situation with a calm and non-judgmental demeanor. Your composed presence can help create a safe and supportive environment. Let the person know that you care about them and their well-being. Use empathetic language to show that you understand their pain and are there to support them. If you live with a mental health condition, it's essential to seek treatment and plan ahead. Talk with your treatment team about where to go for intensive treatment and how to get there, how to take time off work or explain your absence to others, and what methods you can use to calm yourself in an emergency. Above all, you and those closest to you should know how to reach your mental health professionals in an emergency. It's also valuable to know the phone number of a crisis intervention team if your area has one. If your health condition has grown worse recently, but you are not having thoughts of suicide, it could mean that you need to seek help or make changes to your treatment plan if you are already receiving treatment. The first thing to do if you feel your health worsening is to call mental health professionals and explain the situation. Think about what has helped stabilize you in the past and create a toolbox of coping mechanisms. Talk to a friend or family member. Take action to help yourself, even if you doubt it will work. Doubt and feelings of helplessness may be symptoms of a mental health condition. Do something that might make you feel better and observe how you feel afterward. Your immediate discomfort will be easier to bear if you have a long-term treatment plan, because you can remind yourself that your difficult times are becoming fewer and less severe. Remember that you are not alone and help is available. Important survival tips so you can get through an outdoor disaster.